Yep, it's time for the big fight, and this time they're not advertising the steel type as being newly discovered. It might have made sense in Gold, Silver, Crystal, but since then, a lot of games came out that took place before it, and they had steel types, so we're gonna have none of that bullshit today. So, gym battle number 6 begins, and we're gonna be facing a Magnemite at the beginning, which is one of 2 Magnemites on her team. As you may remember, those guys worry me a little because Lapras is the only Pokemon on my team that can land neutral damage on it. And is it going to be enough for the kill? Yeah! Well, that settles it. I don't think I'm going to have any trouble with this battle after all. Yeah. Because, well, those Magnemites, I checked to make sure, and they do indeed have Thunderbolt, and that might have hurt a little if I had to take one, since, well, Lapras is a water type, but you don't need me to tell you that. Anyway, the 2 Magnemites are down. It's time for Steelix, which is going to be a lot easier because, well, it's a physically defensive Pokemon, and Surf being a special attack should mow it down pretty easily. It's super effective on top of that. Yep, so 3 attacks, 3 kills. That was yet another really, really easy gym battle. It's you know, it's weird, you know, how Usine actually put up more of a fight than Chuck and Jasmine put together. Sort of a shame, actually. And it was from a freaking Electrode to Pokemon that I went out of my way to say it's crap on top of that. Anyway, we just got the Mineral Badge, which allows me to command Pokemon, traded Pokemon up to level 70. And, okay, TM23, I was about to say Smackdown, but it's Iron Tail, it's Smackdown in black and white. I don't know why they removed the Iron Tail TM. It's not like it was massively improved like Giga Drain or Drain Punch, but, whatever. Now that this gym's been beaten, it's time to do what I said I would do and head back to Cianwood because we're going to go on the way to the Safari Zone. And there are 2 routes on the way, routes 47 and 48. Those places are all brand new. They weren't there in Gold, Silver, Crystal. So let's just fly over there real quick. So yeah, it's one of the many reasons why I decided to LP Hard Gold, Soul Silver, and Fire Red, Leaf Green. The only thing that's really new in Fire Red, Leaf Green is the Sevi Islands, and that's not too much content. Here, however, there's plenty of differences. Kanto is actually done right for once, but there's also this area, and a few other things that I want to cover as well. And this woman's just ecstatic, you know, about the Safari Zone being open. Well, then why don't you go there? If you live to go there, just go. Why don't you drop by? And wow, she's really insisting that I go there. Well, don't worry, I'm gonna go there because I'm gonna need to catch a Pokemon in there anyway. So, Route 47. It's located on the cliffside beyond Cianwood. As you can see, lots of waterfalls, cliffs, and all that stuff. And they're actually vertical for once. Usually cliffs in Pokemon games are going to be diagonal, at least in terms of the point of view, but in this game they actually look like, yeah, don't fall off those cliffs. And I can't stress this enough, don't try coming here if you're playing Gold, Silver, Crystal, you're not going to be able to. In fact, I'm sort of wondering how come Giancarlo Parimongo didn't try, you know, hacking all those areas in Gold, Silver, Crystal. Probably because it's a lot more complicated than the hacks that he did do. But it would be his style to say, you know, do something and something else, and then you can go to the Safari Zone, which would be an outright lie. And when I'm saying he hacked some other stuff, I'm referring to, you know, Cyrus and the Sinnoh gym leaders in this game. I'm sort of happy that no one asked me yet, you know, are you going to be fighting the Sinnoh gym leaders? Yeah, because had I gotten that kind of comment, I probably would have bothered giving that person a virtual slap to the face. Like, you really believe this is for real? And, yeah, other examples would include rematches of the gym leaders in black and white. There are no such things. It's obviously a feature that they have thought of, but they decided to keep it for the deluxe version. Yeah, those things happen all the time. Oh, and let's not forget those hack Pokemon he distributed through the GTS somehow as event Pokemon, quote-unquote, and he claims those are legit when, in fact, they are not. Speaking of that guy, there's something I've been wondering, because one of my regulars, I think it was BroBuzz, debated something with someone else, and anyway, eventually it came down to the point where I think it was BroBuzz, as I said, asked the other guy to ask me why Giancarlo Parimongo is such a prick, and automatically, apparently, the other guy's assumption was that Slowflake is an account that belongs to a certain Auroravirus. Now I don't know who Auroravirus is or why anyone would think that I'm that person, but I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that this guy just loves Giancarlo so much that he doesn't want to believe that there's more than one person who hates his filthy, rotten guts. But this is just a wild guess. I know it could be completely wrong, so if anyone has any idea what the deal with Auroravirus is, I would very much appreciate it if you told me in the comments. Of course, make sure to check some of the comments to make sure that no one answered it before you. As always, it would be very much appreciated. Anyway, we got a choice here. We can go down this ladder to the right or up this ladder to the left. And trust me when I say that if you go down the ladder to the right, there's absolutely nothing down there. There's just water, water, and water. There are also waterfalls that you can climb, rock climbable walls, but unfortunately you can't do anything about these for the time being because obviously you don't have the HMs. So it's totally and entirely pointless to go down there. Trust me, I learned it the hard way when I first played this game. I tried going down there, seeing if there was anything, and there was absolutely nothing, and I spent a long, long time just fighting wild tentacles, and also Staryus and seals. Anyway, this fight here looks to be somewhat of a jerk, because, well, you saw Magmar use Protect. I was thinking of using Surf while Crobat was flying to annihilate these two. Didn't even kill Electabuzz, so yeah, not good. Oh, come on! Try using Protect again and it worked. I thought the AI was smarter than, using Protect twice in a row and have a 50% chance of completely wasting a turn. And yeah, as I said, this fight is a fucking jerk. Thunder Wave on my Crobat means it's not going to be unusable, but I'm going to try to avoid using it as much as I can until I get it healed. But God, I fucking hate that. Game, you're not doing a whole lot to make me like doubles here. And oh, great flamethrower on Crobat on top of that. How much damage is it going to do for fun? Oh, just that, but nonetheless. This fight is way, way, way more difficult than using Orchuk or Jasmine. These two should have been the gym leaders, not these other wimps. God. I try to be smart and have my Crobat fly while I surf with Lapras, and the end result is an absolute cataclysm. You'd think that I'd be better at doubles than this since I've been playing for a long time, but it's just, it's just so much more unpredictable than singles is in just every aspect, and it's just about the same thing in competitive play. And yeah, I'm mentioning that even though to my knowledge, Smogon doesn't have a ladder for double battles. Anyway. Oh, another double battle. Are you kidding me? Oh, well, I'm gonna send Gengar instead of Crobat. Because, well, the paralyzed Crobat loses its biggest asset, which is its speed, so... Okay, I hope this one won't be as difficult and annoying as the other one. Let's see what they got. Then again, those two trainers over there were ace trainers. Here we have a young couple, which is usually a lot less threatening. Onyx and Cloyster! Great, I can handle that. Not gonna use Surf, even though it would be very tempting because of that Onyx. Ice Beam on Onyx and Thunderbolt on Cloyster. And that should be it. Now, Onyx is, well, I wouldn't say fast, but back in Generation 1, it was actually the speedy one of the Rock Ground Trio, while Golem and Rhydon were the real sluggers. Onyx had actually a respectable speed compared to those two, but it just couldn't attack worth peanuts, so, and it still can't, so there's nothing to worry about there. And speaking of Pokemon that can't attack worth shit, something that I meant to say about Shuckle back when I was in Cyanwood and I got mine, but I didn't get the chance to, is that Shuckle is a really weird Pokemon when it comes to fighting human players, in that it's really, really effective against people who just aren't very good at the game, and yet it's completely hopeless against anyone who knows what the hell they're doing. Now you might say, well, of course this is the case for any Pokemon. Any Pokemon's gonna have an easier time against a player who doesn't know what they're doing, but for Shuckle, I'd say the effect is amplified at least tenfold, because we're talking about something that can absolutely wreck noobs, and when you're up against, say, a Smogonite, you're going to be hard-pressed to have it do anything more than paper cuts. And even weirder is the fact that Game Freak, you know, Shuckle isn't one of those Pokemon that they've blatantly given up on. They seem to insist on trying to make it viable generation after generation. They give it toys like Power Trick. You can put it on Trick Room teams for maximum effect. There's also Power Split that can be amazing if used against the right target. But nonetheless, even though those things, you'd think they would work in theory, but they don't. They just don't. And that's why Shuckle just can never seem to break through to the higher tiers. And it's a shame, really, because you'd think that a Pokemon with a stat spread as focused as this could actually do some damage, but it's just that it doesn't have much of a support move pool either. I know, of course it has Stealth Rock, every rock type does, but there are plenty of Pokemon that can do that and much, much, much more. So why they insist on trying to make it anything but a support Pokemon is just beyond me. Anyway, now that we finished this trend just in time because we reached the Safari Zone gate, which is more or less a town in its own right. There's even a Pokemon Center here. Here you can buy vitamins if you want. Yeah, there are a few vendors here that are under tents, which sort of reminds me of Slateport's Market in a way, because it really looks a lot like that. You've got those little tents everywhere, and people and merchants under those tents. Safaris, it is so much fun. I don't think all those tents have vendors under them, though there are just random NPCs that really don't say too much that's interesting. Anyway, the Safari Zone. We have a few things to do here. We're probably going to cover this only in the next part, though. But there are a few tests that Baoba is going to have us do in order to be able to get the full experience out of the Safari Zone. And if I have them... Oh, okay, that's right. This is the vendor that sells you dusk balls before any other point in the game where you can get them. So I'm gonna make sure to come back here and buy a few, because I'm gonna be catching Raikou and Entei in not too long, and I'm gonna need those balls. And yeah, creepy Fuzzy Pickles guy managed to find his way here too. But yeah, as I was meaning to say, I'm gonna try and see if I start out with the mountain area, and if I get lucky and I do have the mountain area right from the start, I'm going to try and attempt to catch a Larvitar right here, even though, as I said before, I'm not going to touch it at all until the post-game gets started. So next time, in Pokemon Soul Silver, We are going on a safari!